Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of All's Well That Ends Well, a play by William Shakespeare. The story starts with Count of Rosslyn had died and his physician Gerard de Nermont, he has died 6 months earlier itself. And the Count's son Bertram is too young to become the next Count. So he is going to Paris to become a ward of the king. Now Gerard's daughter Helen is in love with Bertram and she is distraught that Bertram is leaving that place. And because Helen is a common person, not a noble person, she knows that she has very little chance of marrying a person like Bertram who is a noble blood. But she concocts a plan to heal the king of a fistula in exchange for arranging her marriage to Bertram. The Countess Bertram's mother and Helena's guardian expresses a sincere love for Helen and she supports Helen in endeavour, giving her the means to travel to Paris. Here Bertram is frustrated with his wardship and thinks about running away as to fight in the Florentine Wars. The French king decides not to send aid to either side, that is not to Florence or to Siena, because of the conflict which Florence and Siena have, but he allows his lords to go to the battle for whichever side they want to support. And however, the king forbids Bertram from fighting on account of his young age. Struggling with his fistula, the king laments that he may not live much longer, but it is at this time Helen arrives there with her medicine, which her father had left when he had died. But the king is very skeptical, but Helen tells that she will allow him to execute her if she treatments fails. And so the king allows her to do the treatment, and when Helen's treatment works, the king offers Helen whatever she desires. And what she asks is, she says, I want to marry Bertram. But Bertram rejects Helena, but the king says, no, you have to marry her, and therefore he is forced to marry her. But even after marriage, he refuses to consummate the marriage. That is, he refuses to behave like a husband with her. And he says, this actually is invalid, but he says that if you want to fulfill the marriage, then you bear my child and wear my ring. Now, this is not possible because he will not even touch her. And he leaves immediately to fight in Florence. Now, Helen is dismayed by Bertram's reaction, and the Countess disowns Bertram, saying that Helen will be her child instead. And Helen follows Bertram to Florence, where she spreads word that she is dead, and now she disguises herself as a pilgrim. And she befriends a widow and her daughters Mariana and Diana, and she also discovers that Bertram is planning to seduce Diana. Bertram is successful in the military, and he earns commendations from the Duke of Florence. And he discovers that Polaris, a soldier in his service, is a coward and he may betray the French. Bertram and his soldiers capture Paralis and pretending to be enemy soldiers, and when Paralis betrays himself, they reveal themselves and leave him in Florence. In Florence, Bertram seduces Diana by promising to marry her, unaware that Diana is tricking him on the advice of her mother and Helen. At the appointed time for Bertram to sleep with Diana, Helen takes Diana's place in bed, and thus she is able to sleep with Bertram. In the process, Helen takes Bertram's ring, which is evidence of his identity, and promises her to give him her ring, which was a gift from the king. Now Bertram heads back to Rosslyn, thinking he has taken Diana's virginity. Helen, Diana and the widow leave from Rosslyn to confront him. In Rosslyn, the king and countess lament Helen's death, thinking the rumors of her death to be true. They greet Bertram on his arrival. Bertram is now intended to marry the daughter of one of the king's men, Lafitte, but the king notices Bertram is wearing Helen's ring. The countess notes the ring as well, and they accuse Bertram of causing harm to Helen because they think it must be him who has caused her death. But Bertram denies it, saying he was given the ring by a noble woman who considered herself engaged to him. Diana arrives and claims that though Bertram seduced her unfairly, he did not have sex with her, nor did she give him Helen's ring. Helen enters, surprising everyone, and Helen reveals the truth, and she also says that now she is pregnant with Bertram's child. Now Bertram is won over by Helen's cleverness and swears to love her as a husband, and the king offers to reward Diana for the trouble which she has taken, and the play ends here. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box, like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.